Marshall's intelligence allowed him to think a batsman out when conditions were against him. He excelled on the subcontinent, normally purgatory for fast bowlers. In Lahore in 1986, he took 5 for 33 from 18 overs.
Malcolm was a complete fast bowler in the sense that he was capable of swinging the ball at tremendous pace. He was capable of bowling on very flat wickets, and when the ball wasn't swinging, just putting it there, probably rolling his fingers over, trying to cut it. But he knew exactly what to do for different conditions and different batsmen. And apart from that, he was willing to work for his wickets.
He worked very hard at his bowling, he worked very hard at his fitness. Malcolm Marshall is one of the first guys that I recognized to put so much weight and hard work into his legs, because he ran in that fast. He knew his legs had to carry him. So he put a lot of hard work into those legs to build them up to get them strong.
At Old Trafford in 1988, Malcolm Marshall took 5 wickets in an hour, finishing with 7 for 22 as England were dismissed for 93.
Marshall was at his absolute peak in England in 1988. It was in something of a transition period for the West Indies in terms of fast bowlers. Holding and Garner had retired the previous year. Ambrose had just come into the side. Walsh was still evolving into the great bowler that he was through the 90s. So Malcolm Marshall was definitely the man. And he rose to that, whereas he'd been the leading bowler on a great side earlier. In 88, he really needed to climb up, and he did that so well, and never was that better illustrated than when he took 7 for 22 in that 88 series.
In Australia in 1988-89, Marshall took 5 for 29 on the spin-friendly Sydney Cricket Ground wicket.
The Sydney Cricket Ground curator produced a spinner's pitch. There was so much a spinner's pitch that Alan Border took 11 wickets in the test. I mean, it took 7 for him one innings. And with all due respect to Border, he wasn't a test-class spin bowler. And yet on that same wicket, which was so dead for fast bowlers, Malcolm Marshall came out and adapted it to the conditions to the stage where he took 5 for 29 off 31 overs.
We're talking about a bowler here that, you can imagine facing him in Brisbane or Perth where, there's bounce and a little bit of sideways movement. He'd run in and bowl absolute express pace and be hard work on those conditions. But we're talking about a wicket here in Sydney that was a bit more of a turner, pretty flat facing the fast bowlers, and he still finds a way to get people out. Shortens his run, runs his finger over the seam. Just a very, very capable fast bowler in all conditions.
He really knew the art of bowling, and I can remember one day here in Sydney where the ball never got above stump high at any stage of the game. It was certainly not a fast bowler's wicket, and yet he bowled superbly and got the wickets. And to me, it was only because of his enormous skills.
Marshall's international career ended after the 1991 tour of England. He played for Hampshire until 1993 and for Natal in South Africa until 1994-95.
I just realised how sharp you had to be as a batsman against somebody like this. Massive skill factor, be able to bowl a couple of in-swingers and then to be able to whip one across a left-hander, pass the throat, find the edge.
He's played for Hampshire for quite a few years, and I think that's the one thing that West Indian fast bowlers especially learned about cricket. When you played in England, okay, the conditions were changeable every single day. You might get a good pitch, a bad one. Conditions allow you to swing the ball, and I think Malcolm Marshall, more than most of us, learned from all of that.
He led Natal to the Castle Cup title and was named one of South Africa's Cricketers of the Year. He was an enormously influential figure on emerging all-rounder Sean Pollock.
He had a huge impact on my career. Obviously it was the end of his, but he had so much knowledge and so much of a feel for the game that he really did teach me so much and really helped me progress as a cricketer.
Not just Sean Pollock, I mean, there's plenty of black kids in South Africa, which has of course been the big challenge. And I think that Malcolm Marshall was also smart enough to realise that he could make a difference. I mean, to go to South Africa so soon after things had changed from the apartheid system into this new democratic society, and to actually show what a black guy could do.
Malcolm Marshall is the type of guy. If you go around the world wherever you went, people will tell you. Malcolm Marshall is the type of guy that will pass on his skills to other people, his knowledge of the game, help other people.